everyone, it's Ann. I'm doing my 1st of May, first day of retirement, with some good news, I think. So today felt like a Saturday, nothing special. First day of retirement, nothing special. The dog still got me up at 4:30 in the morning, so that's that. But well, one thing was kind of cool. I went to the grocery store, and on my way, I decided, well, let me go to the car wash. So I got to go wash my car and then go to the grocery store at like 9 o'clock in the morning and take my time. So that sort of felt like, ooh. But other than that, it felt like a Saturday. And I spent the rest of the day, which I did not want to do, but I decided, you know what? You need to find out one way or the other. I went to Healthcare.gov because I saw a lot of people on YouTube who do that. And, they had very low premiums. And in my last video, I mentioned I called, and last month they told me it was going to be like $1,300 a month. But that was because I confused a health savings account with, I don't know why I can't remember this, look at my papers here, with a health insurance subsidy. So apparently my job, my former job, is going to give me $157.50 a month to put toward health insurance, provided I give proof that I'm insured. And so anyway, Healthcare.gov is just so overwhelming with all the different choices and premiums and companies and everything. And so I called, and I think I was on the phone for about 2 hours. I felt so bad for the kid who was helping me, but he was super sweet and very nice. And he seemed to have it together. The last person I talked to, you could clearly tell she was reading off of a script. Everything was like so scripted, but with him, it wasn't that way. So I felt that he had a better grasp of what he was doing than she did. But anyway, what he had me do is go through every paycheck I had and give him my gross income from January. So I got my I got my final paycheck yesterday, but I have one more for 4 days this week that I will get in 2 weeks. So anyway, I went through all of the gross earnings for every paycheck from January until yesterday, and then we sort of estimated the next paycheck. And then he took my pension and my Social Security, and he multiplied, he took that sum for the month and multiplied it by, 6 months, till December, to get a good estimate of my annual income for 2026. And I actually got a credit of like $1,035, I think it was. So what that means is that these premiums were like, there was one that was $67, but you had $11,000 almost deductible, and it didn't pay for anything until that deductible was met. So that was dumb. But anyway, I finally narrowed it down, and he helped me to these 2 gold plans, Gold Simple and Gold Elite. And I said, this is really hard to do over the phone because I can't compare, I can't see it. I can't see what covers what and what doesn't. And so he had me go on to the website, into the application. He's like, you can do that. So I decided to copy and paste them into ChatGPT and asked what the best plan would be. Now, I'm not 100% on AI or anything like that. I'm more old school, to be honest. I like to do things the old-fashioned way. Like, I still bake bread, and I like a garden and all those things. I do all that stuff. But ChatGPT seems to have some of its advantages. So I asked ChatGPT to compare, and it actually told me that the Gold Simple plan, which will only cost $186 a month versus $1,300, $2,000 deductible. If I do the Gold Elite, it's a zero deductible. And the office visits are like $40, so a little bit higher, but for $4 more a month. I could get the Gold Elite, and ChatGPT said that one's better in case I have to have like diagnostic testing, which I do. I usually have to have a needle stuck in my neck 1 to 2 times a year because of these thyroid nodule things that I have. So anyway, I felt like I had maybe accomplished something, and maybe it's, to my benefit. The other thing is that I learned how spoiled I am and how spoiled we are, those of us who have been fortunate enough to have a job where we're given health insurance, because I've had health insurance given to me by every employer I ever had. So even from my first real job in a bank, I was 16. And I've had health insurance from them, and then, went to college and did the things and got my real job and health insurance. So I never had to ever think about health insurance or really paying for it or anything like that. And now I can really sympathize with people who lose their jobs or are really having a hard time, and probably need it a heck of a lot more than I do. I mostly need it I do need my checkups from the doctor. That's important because the thyroid affects every organ in your body. So I do have to see a cardiologist, things like that. But I just had that checked, and my heart's like, everything's really good. So I'm sure there are people who are in way worse condition than me who really need the insurance, way worse situations too. So I learned that it's not easy, and unfortunately, I don't know why we're supposed to be the greatest nation on earth and we have this issue with health insurance. Everybody should have health insurance. It should be affordable at least. I don't mind paying for it. I have no problem with that. But it should be affordable. It shouldn't be $1,300 a month. I don't understand it. I don't know how like a single mother with a child could afford something like that. I just don't. It's horrible. So, I was humbled today, very humbled through this process of just how spoiled some of us are and how spoiled I am, and, how I take advantage of things like that because I never had to think about it before. So suddenly I'm thinking about it a lot. And, it's only like $200 a month. And that's with this $157 subsidy that I get. So it's a little bit more than that, but that $157 brought it down to around $186, I believe it was. That's very reasonable. But now that my paycheck is going to be more than, my paycheck's going to be decreased more than half of what I make now. So that's going to be an adjustment, and I understand that, and I think I'm ready for that. But to say, now I have to pay another $200, right? Suddenly every penny matters. When I was working, it didn't matter. But now suddenly I'm realizing every cent that I spend does matter. And like I said in my last video, the one good thing is that I have very minimal debt. Everything I have is paid off. If I put something on a credit card, I pay it off right away. So my debt is low, and I think this is very doable for me, even though I don't want to spend an extra $200 a month, because I could put that in a savings account. But I really only need to get through just the next 2 years till I'm eligible for Medicare, and then if nothing happens, then it was money well spent, but I have it in case I need it. So that gave me some excitement and something to look forward to, that maybe it's not going to be as bad as I think. And it's mostly not bad because I think, if I end up in the hospital, because they're going to help me if I end up in the hospital, right? But it's the bills after, and I'm a very big stickler about bills. I do not like unpaid bills. I don't like late bills, things like that. So I would just die inside if I had this big bill that I couldn't afford to pay. or had that hanging over me, that would be a horrible weight to bear. So I would rather fork over the $200 a month and, you know, not have to really use it that much other than my regular visits, but it's there if something big does happen. So that was a chin up for me. And, you know, if you're in a situation where you're looking for health insurance, it's a grueling process. I don't know. Some people say it's super easy. I thought it was grueling because I felt overwhelmed by, you know, well, if you want to pay $400 a month, there's this. If you want to pay $5,000 a month, there's that. If you want to pay $67 a month, there's that. There's just, and then having to compare all these plans and, you know, what they cover and what they don't and everything. It was just insane. So, but I strongly suggest that you call them and have them help you, and hopefully you'll be lucky enough to have that kid that I had, poor kid, or somebody similar to him that really knows their stuff, so that they can, even though, you know, you're spending time, he or she's spending time, you're getting the job done. And once it's done, it'll be done. So that was sort of like a weight off my shoulder too, because after the last conversation I had, the last thing I wanted to do was call that place back. I didn't want to deal with it. I was like, you know what? Just suck it up, take care of your health, do the best you can, and hope and pray that nothing happens. But what is it? Newton's law? Yeah. So anyway, please check it out and please take the time to call. I should have been more proactive, and I wasn't because I didn't want to deal. But you should be, because our health is everything, right? So that's my document for today. My first day of retirement, the 1st of May, the name of my channel, that maybe I'm going to be getting health insurance that will really put my mind at ease. And then, I don't know, I can go learn to paint or something. I can relax a little bit. So anyway, thanks for watching if you watched. And till next time, bye.